Summary of Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? By William Shakespeare. Sonnet 18, one of Shakespeare's most famous poems, explores the theme of immortalizing beauty through poetry. The speaker begins by asking if he should compare the subject, likely a beloved or a muse, to a summer's day, which is typically associated with warmth, light, and beauty. However, he immediately rejects the comparison, claiming that the subject is more lovely and temperate than a summer's day. Summer, although beautiful, is fleeting, rough winds can disturb the peacefulness, and its duration is limited. The speaker then elaborates on the imperfections of summer. Sometimes the sun, referred to as the eye of heaven, shines too hot, and at other times it is obscured by clouds, his gold complexion dimmed. Furthermore, everything beautiful, every fair from fair, eventually loses its charm, whether due to chance or the natural passage of time, nature's changing course untrimmed. These lines highlight the inevitable decline that affects all natural beauty. However, the speaker assures the subject that their beauty will not fade like summer's. The phrase "thy eternal summer shall not fade" implies that the subject's beauty will remain constant and everlasting. Through the poem, Eternal Lines, the subject will be immortalized and will never fall into the shadow of death. The idea that death cannot claim the subject adds a sense of triumph over mortality. The final couplet declares that as long as humanity exists, as men can breathe or eyes can see, the poem will live on, preserving the subject's beauty forever. The sonnet follows a typical Shakespearean structure, 14 lines composed of 3 quatrains and a final rhyming couplet. The rhyme scheme is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. This structure allows the speaker to introduce an idea, develop it, and resolve it neatly in the final lines. The meter is iambic pentameter, where each line has 10 syllables, following an unstressed stressed pattern, d-d-u-m 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 d-d-u-m. This rhythm creates a flowing, harmonious sound, which mirrors the subject's beauty and the eternal nature of the poem. Thematically, the poem explores the fragility of natural beauty in contrast with the lasting power of art. While summer may fade and natural elements may change, poetry offers a way to transcend time. Shakespeare uses the sonnet to suggest that art, and more specifically, the written word, can preserve beauty and life beyond the reach of death. In summary, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day celebrates the power of poetry to grant immortality. Through the use of lyrical language, iambic pentameter, and a structured form, Shakespeare emphasizes the endurance of art and the promise of eternal beauty.
Line-by-line explanation of Sonnet 18, Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? By William Shakespeare.
Line 1, Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? The speaker begins with a rhetorical question, wondering if the subject's beauty can be compared to a summer's day. Summer is traditionally associated with warmth, light, and beauty, but this question implies that the comparison may not fully capture the subject's magnificence. The speaker hints that the subject's beauty might be even greater than a perfect summer day. Line 2, Thou art more lovely and more temperate. The speaker answers the initial question by declaring that the subject is more beautiful and calm than a summer's day. The word temperate suggests balance and moderation, unlike summer, which can be extreme in its warmth or harshness. The subject's beauty and nature are portrayed as steady and more refined. Line 3, Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. Here, the speaker points out a flaw in summer. The rough winds of early summer, May, disturb the delicate beauty of flowers, darling buds. This highlights the fact that even summer is subject to disruption and imperfection, unlike the subject, whose beauty is more resilient and unshaken. Line 4, And summer's lease hath all too short a date. The speaker notes that summer is temporary, with its beauty lasting only for a short time. The metaphor of a lease emphasizes the brevity of summer's beauty, reinforcing that it is fleeting, whereas the subject's beauty, by contrast, will not be constrained by time. Line 5, Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines. The eye of heaven refers to the sun, which can sometimes be too intense during summer. The speaker is acknowledging that even the sun, while a symbol of beauty, can be overwhelming or harsh at times. This highlights the imperfections of summer, making the subject's beauty appear more pleasant and balanced. Line 6, and often is his gold complexion dimmed. Even the sun's golden light can be obscured by clouds, casting shadows and diminishing its brightness. This metaphor suggests that summer's beauty, represented by the sun's gold complexion, is not constant. Nature's beauty can fade, but the subject's beauty, as the speaker later suggests, will not. Line 7, and every fair from fair sometime declines. The speaker asserts that all beautiful things, regardless of their initial perfection, will eventually lose their beauty. This line reflects the inevitability of aging and decay, a natural process that all living things undergo. The idea is that beauty in nature is always temporary. Line 8, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. This line further explains the causes of beauty's decline, either by random chance or through the inevitable passage of time, nature's changing course. The speaker emphasizes that beauty in the natural world is unprotected and subject to forces beyond control, but this contrast will be resolved later when the subject's beauty is deemed eternal. Line 9, but thy eternal summer shall not fade. In stark contrast to the fading beauty of summer in nature, the speaker declares that the subject's beauty will never diminish. The phrase eternal summer symbolizes a perpetual state of youth and beauty. Unlike the natural world, the subject's summer will be everlasting, suggesting a kind of immortality. Line 10, nor lose possession of that fair thou oust. The subject will not lose the beauty, fair, that they possess. While everything else in nature is subject to decay and loss, the subject's beauty will remain intact. The use of oust implies ownership, as if the subject's beauty is something they will retain forever, defying the natural processes of aging. Line 11, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade. The speaker boldly asserts that death will not claim the subject or boast of taking them into its domain. The image of death bragging suggests that death typically celebrates its victories over life, but in this case, it will not be able to claim the subject. This suggests a form of immortality beyond the reach of death. Line 12, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. The speaker explains how the subject will achieve immortality through the eternal lines of the poem. These lines of verse will preserve the subject's beauty and ensure that they grow and live on in time. The power of poetry is highlighted here, as it has the ability to grant eternal life to the subject. Line 13, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see. As long as there are people who can breathe and see, this poem will endure. The speaker emphasizes that as long as humanity exists, the subject's beauty will live on through the written word. This line underscores the lasting nature of art, as it will be passed down through generations. Line 14, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. The poem will live on indefinitely, and through it, the subject's beauty will be immortalized. The final couplet emphasizes that the power of poetry grants life beyond death. The speaker concludes by affirming that as long as the poem exists, the subject will continue to live, demonstrating the power of verse to transcend time.
About the poet. William Shakespeare was born on April 23, 1564, in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest writers in the English language and the world's preeminent playwright. His body of work includes 39 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narrative poems. Shakespeare's plays, such as Hamlet, Macbeth, Othello, and Romeo and Juliet, explore timeless themes of love, ambition, power, and betrayal. His poetry, particularly his sonnets, delves into the nature of beauty, mortality, and the passage of time. Shakespeare's profound understanding of human nature, combined with his innovative use of language and poetic forms, has left a lasting impact on literature and theater. He was an actor and part owner of the Lord Chamberlain's Men, a popular acting company in London. William Shakespeare died on April 23, 1616, but his works continue to be celebrated and studied worldwide.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.